3 o'clock. Thank you for joining me here on Fox Local. Working on all those stories here in real time. I'm Rita Morocco. Let's get this show started. A busy one with some breaking news at this hour. Kilmar Abrego Garcia expected to be released from jail soon. A judge in Tennessee ordering Garcia be let out on bail while he awaits trial on human smuggling charges. A second judge, this one in Maryland, putting a temporary pause on the attempt by the Trump administration to deport him yet again. Let's bring in attorney Dante Mills to help break down the latest twist in this case. I don't think a lot of people saw that ICE pause coming, but Judge Zinn is here in Maryland saying 72 hours before ICE can do anything. How do you interpret what the judges are saying today, Dante?
Maria, good afternoon. This is very, very interesting because the court determined that Abrego Garcia should be released while he faces these sentences. They cited in their opinion that he lived here in this country for a very long time and did not have any run-ins with the law or any illegal activity that was documented, and that's why they say he should be released. However, on the other side of that, Abrego Garcia and his attorneys themselves put in a motion for him not to be released. It seems like they don't want him to be released from prison because they know that ICE will grab him and maybe send him somewhere else out of this country. So very rarely do you have a defendant or someone charged with something asking to stay in jail. But that seems to be the case here because who knows what's going to happen if he is released, if ICE is going to pick him up again and ship him out, and he'll be in an even worse situation than he is now.
So Judge Zinnes says we must restore his immigration status to what it was prior to his arrest, which would essentially mean he must continue reporting to immigration officials. But she did hold off on the deportation orders, which we had heard at least from the government attorney saying that potentially he would be deported. They couldn't say where he would be deported. We know it has to be a third country, not El Salvador. They had named Mexico, maybe Sudan. So unclear what happens next. But to be clear, this doesn't mean that Kilmar Abrego Garcia cannot be deported eventually.
Absolutely. And even his status being returned to what it was before this happened, that simply means that he is a person that can be removed, but not to El Salvador. That was the only condition in his order. And the only thing, in fact, that the government did wrong was send him back there where he was not supposed to go. But they do have the right to remove him from the country and send him to somewhere else. But if I'm Abrego Garcia, I definitely don't want to go to Sudan, right? I definitely don't want to be shipped somewhere that I've never been, that I have no attachments to. And that's why his attorneys are asking for this release order to be halted so that he won't be picked up by ICE and sent somewhere else, and that they can maneuver and fight this case while he at least remains in the United States, albeit in custody in the United States.
Dante, really quickly on your expertise, like how quickly can we see Kilmar Abrego Garcia be let's call it a pseudo-free man here, at least on those charges in Tennessee?
Well, it has to go back to the court said that the magistrate judge has the ability to issue a release order. So that judge still has to issue a release order. It could be in the next day or two, but we see that there is going to be this 72-hour hold on ICE picking him up, I guess, after that. So he could be free potentially for 72 hours once that's done. But I think in the next day or two, that release order, it will be determined by the magistrate judge if, in fact, that judge will issue the release order or listen to Abrego Garcia's motion to say, I don't want to be released, because the government isn't opposing that motion. The judge may just do that.
Okay. And also, really quickly, if potentially they do release him, could there be parameters on where he can be about in the United States? Because they say you must remain in the state of Tennessee, or would they, how do you think, probably allow him to at least come back home to Maryland?
I don't think he's going to be allowed to move around. I think it's either going to be he stays where he is, or unfortunately he's released and then sent somewhere in probably the most dramatic place that this administration can find for him to go. Okay. There's not going to be a situation where he's given kind of the benefit of an option where he gets the benefit of it. It's either he convinces this magistrate judge to leave him there and not release him so he can fight this from inside a United States prison, or the release order is issued and he's shipped by the government and by this administration to somewhere he definitely does not want to be.
All right, Dante Mills will be awaiting word here out of Tennessee from that magistrate judge. We appreciate you at least explaining further what all of this means. In the meantime, let's move